In a press conference, Governor Walz pointed out that this was predictable, that someone was going to get killed from this use of excessive force in American cities for reasons that are extremely dubious by the Trump administration. He said, "We do not need any help from the federal government," and called in Minnesota National Guard. When was the last time a U.S. state had to protect itself from the federal government?
I mean, this has been one of the grimmest realities of this entire year, which is that the President of the United States clearly views himself not as the President of the entire nation, which is the position he occupies. It's the only position, along with Vice President, that is elected by the entire nation and represents every person of this country as an equal, right? You're the representative. He views himself as the President of the country of MAGA, and he views any municipality, locality, state, or territory that is not within his political coalition as essentially an enemy.
This isn't just another protest story. This could be the moment everything snaps. Federal agents pulling back, cities erupting, politicians panicking, and Americans asking a dangerous question. Who's really in control right now?
She was showing up. She was standing up for our immigrant communities. She was showing up for our neighbors. She was peacefully observing. She was not a domestic terrorist as she was labeled. She was our neighbor. She was a wife. She was a mother. She was a sister. She was a community member. She was one of us. She was one of us. And so I want to make one thing clear, that we're not going to be living in fear. We're going to keep showing up. And I've been so heartened and so humbled to see every single one of you show up.
Because what happened in Minneapolis isn't staying in Minneapolis. Protests are spreading nationwide. Congress is getting dragged in. And this is turning into a direct test of federal power versus public outrage. Stay with me. The next few minutes will explain why this could reshape everything. If that already made you pause, hit the like button right now. And if you want uncensored, real-time political breakdowns, subscribe to Breaking Supporters. Let's slow this down just enough to understand what we're watching. This all centers around the fatal shooting of Renee Good by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. Since that moment, tensions haven't just risen, they've stayed hot. Federal buildings, hotels believed to house agents, downtown streets, all becoming flashpoints. What you're seeing isn't random chaos. It's anger that's been simmering, now boiling over. And the reason this feels different is because the federal presence is visible, armed, and directly confronting civilians. Not just once, but repeatedly. Comment, yes, if you feel like this situation feels different than past protests. Comment and oh, if you think this is just another cycle. Here's what caught my attention immediately. Live footage shows federal law enforcement swelling in numbers, then retreating. Protesters block streets, confront vehicles, shout louder as officers pull back. That alone raises questions. Why show force, then shrink it? Why move in, then retreat? This wasn't accidental. You could see officers strategizing in real time. And protesters weren't intimidated. If anything, they got louder. That tells you something important. The threat of force is no longer working the way it used to. And here's another key detail. Earlier in the day, vehicles were coming in and out of that federal facility with little to no visible security. That's not normal. That's either a massive oversight or a calculated risk. Tell me in the comments, do you think this was de-escalation or loss of control? Let's go straight to the comments because this is where the real temperature shows. One viewer said, "I wonder when politicians will work for us instead of treating us like tools." And that right there is the core emotion driving these protests. Betrayal. People don't feel represented, they feel managed. Another comment reads, "When exposing a crime is treated as committing a crime, you're ruled by criminals." That tells you how deep the mistrust runs, not just toward ICE, but toward institutions as a whole. Then someone else points out, there are more ICE agents in Minneapolis than local and state police combined. If that's true, and multiple reports suggest it might be close, that alone explains the panic. Federal enforcement outnumbering local authorities changes the psychological dynamic completely. And here's a skeptical one. Protesting is not an unlawful assembly. That's a constitutional argument, and it's one that keeps surfacing every time arrests happen after warnings over loudspeakers. Now this comment made me pause. Look at them retreating in fear. Bro, this country is messed up. Because whether you agree or disagree, perception matters. When authority looks uncertain, it fuels more confrontation. Drop a comment right now. Do you think federal agents retreating made this better or worse? This is where things get serious. We're watching a clash between federal authority and public legitimacy. The mayor is urging peaceful protest while warning arrests. Police chiefs are calling responses disciplined. Federal agencies are acting, pulling back, re-engaging. That's not coordination, that's friction.
To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave. It's on you to make sure that further damage, further loss of life and injury is not done. We're going to be working towards justice as quickly as we possibly can right now, and justice is what we've all got to get.
And when members of Congress try to conduct oversight visits and are asked to leave early, that raises another red flag. Oversight isn't a courtesy, it's a constitutional responsibility. Here's the deeper issue. Americans are watching enforcement decisions happen in real time on their phones. There's no delay, no filter, no official narrative buffer anymore. Every move is instantly judged. And once people believe force is arbitrary or unaccountable, they stop trusting the system entirely. If this analysis is making sense to you, smash that like button. It tells the algorithm this conversation matters. Here's where this is heading if nothing changes. More protests, more federal presence, more confrontation, more pressure on Congress, and eventually, policy responses, investigations, and potentially leadership consequences. But the bigger question isn't about one shooting or one agency. It's whether the federal government can enforce authority without losing legitimacy in the eyes of the public. That's the line we're approaching. Before you go, I want your take in the comments. Is this a necessary show of federal power, or proof the system is cracking? Subscribe to Breaking Supporters if you want the next update the moment this escalates again, because it will. And in the next video, we're breaking down what Congress can actually do if protests continue to spread nationwide. Stay sharp, stay informed, and I'll see you there.
I just heard that Customs and Border Patrol shot 2 people in Portland just now. Shame.